Slightly ominous look-up. This is the future delivered on demand. A concrete and glass ambition, rising faster than the sun. Towers stretching higher than Manhattan. Entire cities conjured from blueprints. For decades the world watched. China was building, not just homes but an economic miracle. The greatest industrial mobilization in human history. And at the very epicenter of this colossal, shimmering creation stood a single name. A name that promised a home for every dream, a profit for every investor, and glory for the nation's economy. Xu Jiayin, the founder of Evergrande. Within a single decade, his company would become a $300 billion empire, a colossus built to last 1,000 years. Gravelly, immediate change in tone. But what no one knew was that this gleaming future was built on two things: sand and a mountain of debt. To understand the scale of the collapse, you must understand the ambition of the man. Xu Jiayin was not born into power, he was born poor. The year was 1958, in rural Henan province, a China struggling to feed itself. Vo. He hauled coal, he worked in a state-run steel mill. He saw the grinding poverty of the old China and was driven by one obsessive thought: growth, upward mobility, escaping the dirt beneath his feet. Then came the 1990s. China embraced the market, cities swelled. Millions migrated, desperate for a slice of the new wealth. The demand for housing wasn't just high, it was a societal explosion. In a nation where owning a home was the ultimate marker of stability, wealth, and status, the opportunity was boundless. Xu Jiayin, now an ambitious manager, saw his moment. In 1996, he founded the Evergrande Group. The name itself was a statement. Ever had a lasting, Grande's massive. His promise was simple, yet revolutionary for the time. Homes for China's new middle class. Quality, volume, and speed. Evergrande didn't just build apartments. They built the idea of a new life. They were the engine of the Chinese dream, churning out thousands of units where farmers' children could raise their own families in a modern, gleaming city. But Xu Jiayin's vision ballooned beyond simple housing. He sought total integration. Schools, hospitals, even theme parks. The Evergrande logo became ubiquitous. Then he announced a pivot to electric car factories. Why? Because he could afford the ambition. Xu Jiayin was not a patient man. He was constantly talking about speed and scale. His personal motto was essentially, expand or die. And for a long time, the central government, the banks, the people, they all rewarded that ruthless aggression. At its zenith, Evergrande was a true behemoth, employing over 200,000 people directly, supporting millions. Xu Jiayin was one of China's richest men, but to grow that fast, in a system where capital was king, he had to take a shortcut. He had to borrow everything. Watch the video to like and subscribe. The Evergrande business model was breathtaking in its simplicity and its danger. It was a massive, perfectly calibrated borrowing machine. First pre-sales. Buyers, desperate to secure their home, would pay for apartments years before construction was finished. This gave Evergrande instant interest-free capital. Cash from the future. Second, land acquisition. This pre-sold cash was immediately used to buy more land from local governments. Land sales were the lifeblood of municipal finance. The cycle began again, and finally leverage. Every new project was funded with massive loans from state-owned banks, corporate bonds, and high-yield, off-balance sheet financing. Shadow debt that was difficult for anyone to track. Mr. Bu. It was the ultimate Ponzi scheme, but legitimized by the state's drive for growth. They were essentially paying off yesterday's debt with tomorrow's earnings. As long as home prices kept rising by 10% a year, the system was stable. It was magic, a beautiful, terrifying illusion. Evergrande's strategy was to be the biggest, fastest player. Buy the land, launch the project, sell the pre-sales, use that cash to pay the interest on the debt from the last project, and buy more land. Maximum velocity, maximum risk. For a while, the magic worked flawlessly. The economy was booming. Property values doubled, then tripled. Evergrande's debt ballooned past $300 billion. That's more than the entire annual economic output of a country like Finland. But the illusion was dependent on one thing: perpetual growth. As soon as the engine slowed, as soon as sales plateaued, the cash from the new projects would dry up, and the music would stop. By 2019, the economy was slowing, and people were starting to notice the cracks in the concrete. Detailed breakdown of the sales slowdown in late 2019, early 2020. Emotional interviews with first-time homebuyers whose construction stalled. Introduction of the term rotting tails, unfinished projects. The human cost, suppliers not getting paid, small businesses folding. The shift from a financial problem to a social stability problem. Deep dive into the Chinese government's intervention in 2020. Detailed explanation of the 3 red lines policy, e.g. debt-to-asset ratio, net gearing ratio, cash-to-short-term debt ratio. The government's desire to deleverage the economy versus the immediate destruction it caused. Evergrande's frantic attempts to sell assets and raise cash, the fire sale contextualizing Evergrande's position far beyond all 3 lines. The immediate crisis period. Detailed moment-by-moment account of the missed bond payment in September 2021. Footage of global markets reacting. Stock tickers flashing red. News anchors reporting panic. The fear of a Chinese Lehman Moment. Analysis from finance experts on the interconnectedness of global capital. The emotional toll on the bondholders and Chinese employees, investors. Protests escalating into social unrest across China, showing the vast scale of the half-built ghost projects. Emotional interviews with families who paid their life savings for a home that may never be delivered. The suspension of mortgage payments movement. The transfer of power from Xu Jiayin to the regulators. The difficult choice for Beijing, chaos or bailouts. The decision to allow a controlled demolition of the company, prioritizing social stability, delivering homes over financial stability, paying creditors, examining the ripple effect. How the crisis spread to other major developers, Kaiser, Fantasia, Country Garden, the crisis of confidence in the entire Chinese property sector, the impact on local government finance, reliance on land sales, the long-term implications for China's economy, the shift from an investment-driven model to a consumption-driven model, comparing the crisis to Japan's lost decades, the final fall of Xu Jiayin, the specific charges and the symbolism of his arrest in 2024, the official liquidation order, the ultimate fate of the empire, the narrative circle closes, the boy who rose from nothing driven by growth, ultimately destroyed by unchecked ambition, the moral hazard in a state-controlled capitalist system. This story is not just for China, but for any system driven by denial and excessive debt. If you're enjoying this video, take a moment to hit the subscribe button. Your one click motivates us, and it helps you get every new video right on time.